Welcome to Menards. Again, my name is Koba with Royalty Tech, of Royalty Installations. So we're going to go into Menards this time and see what can we find to mount a TV. All right, stay tuned. All right, so we're over here with the levelers, tape measures. So of course the first thing you want to do is get you a good tape measure. Any one of these would do. Getting something 16 inches is again more ideal. You don't need nothing major. You can do one of these performance self locks with a little button. You can do one of those. Okay, you can do one of the 6 inches. It really doesn't matter. Okay, it really doesn't matter which one you want to do. As far as the tape measure, you just need a good tape measure. All right, coming over here to the levelers. Again, same thing. To get a really good leveler is always something that you can do. Okay, having a good leveler is everything, just so you can make sure your final product of your TV is all mounted and is level. All right, so a good leveler and a good tape measure, of course, something that you're going to need. So we're back over here with the levelers. The one thing that I forgot was the stud finders. Okay, was the stud finders. In Menards, all they have are the zircons. Again, personal preference. I typically don't like using these. The main reason for that is because, again, they only find the edge of the studs. The stud finder that I like to use, of course, will read the whole beam, and that's what I will always recommend. Okay, these are saying that they can find the center of the stud. Okay, and of course you can mark that for your center. So I guess they can be very, very useful. Me personally, I just don't like to use them. Okay, that's just me personally. Especially for the price. All right, when you look at the price, this is $33 for something like this. The ones that I would get reach the whole thing and tells you the electrical, and you can get it pretty much around the same price. So you have these here, and let's see, what else do they have? The old reliables, the stud buddy. All right, these here, of course, will find the actual screw in the wall. Or let's say you got a plate like this, you'll run this over there, and it pretty much will magnetically attach right to the screw that's in there, and that's another good way to actually find your studs. And also, of course, a real quick way to find your center as well. So stud buddies are very good to use. You should always probably have a couple of these in your bag, and they're relatively cheap as well, as they are just $9.97. All right, good drill. Get a good drill, whether it's an impact or a drill driver. Either one of those would do. If you get a drill driver, of course, you want to be a little bit more careful, as you want to make sure you drill all the way through the stud. So any of these options here, I've used this earlier on when I started. It's the impact drill driver. This is, of course, it got the 1/2 inch chuck on it for your sockets. Of course, you can use a drill driver. Again, you want to be careful. You just want to have a good drill. And then, of course, on the other side of the aisle, you have drill bits. All right, so you got little drill bits like these. these are pretty much what I would use. I love using these types of drill bits. This is the 532. Got 3/16. You got your quarter, 3/8. Like, this is one that you're definitely gonna need, especially if you're going into masonry or any concrete to put your anchors in. And hopefully in another video I'll show you guys how to do that. But really, something like this, 532, to be small enough to actually drill your pilot holes. And of course, I like the all-in-one bit. Alright, like the all-in-one bit. Nice little bit here. I use these all the time if I'm in Menards. So these are some of the bits that I would get. I will recommend. Again, very durable bits. And of course, you can drill through anything. Of course, with your drills, you're gonna need, of course, your fasteners. So, of course, with everything, you're gonna need a good number 2. You don't have to use Bosch. Bosch, of course, is one of the brands that I use. I like the way they fit within the screws. So, you got Bosch here. And then, of course, let's see if I can find it. Right here, a good magnetic half-inch socket. These are really good for your fasteners. For those lag bolts that comes with. And you may need to get a socket set just in case, because some sockets are a little bit different. Alright, so I said before about getting some sockets. Let's see. With these sockets, you want to get a nice little impact socket. Alright, the impact sockets always, have it on there, what they're rated for. You want to get a nice little deep, not necessarily a deep impact socket, but an impact socket nonetheless. Okay, definitely want some of those. Preferably something that's in the metric format. Alright, so you may be wondering where the TV mounting stuff is. It's in the electrical section. So that's where we're heading right now. That's where you're going to find all your TV mounts, all your core covers, everything you need for mounting your TV. It's going to be on the other side of the store. So that's where we're heading right now. All right, here we go. So this is pretty much our section. This is where we live at. Okay. Of course, you're gonna find all of your computer stuff over here. This is also a really nice place to get screen cleaners. Okay, we'll talk about that in another video. But of course, you got your ceiling brackets. You have your wall mounts right here. Menards is pretty cheap when it comes down to the TV mounting. However, me personally, I don't like the quality of their brackets. Okay, so you have a 65-inch TV tilt mount, very easy bracket. Okay, it's just a little lip that it sits on. I don't like these brackets at all. Okay, this is just personal preference. Me personally, I cannot stand these. I don't like the tilt, and I don't like the bracket itself and how it actually sits onto the plate. But of course, it gives you all the requirements. They're going to always have a smaller lag in these, and that's why we need those impact sockets. Okay. You have, your fixed mounts. This one goes all the way up to 90. It's a little bit of a better mount. as it is extendable, so you can actually extend this mount. Again, I do not really care for this brand, okay? Like, especially, I would use them in a pinch, but I do not care for these brands, okay? As much as it says premium, that it is. Now the fixed mounts, I'll probably, you can use those because it's gonna keep your TV very, very flat to the wall. Again, this one, of course, is extendable, so of course you can reach those extra studs here. So of course, if you need a smaller portion, you can always do that. You got your normal rail, and then of course you have your extended. Okay, you have your extended. Now you will want to use this. Let's say, you have your two studs here. If it's 24 inches apart or 36 inches apart, this is probably not going to be compatible. But 24 inches apart, this is still going to be good for you. And then of course, if you want to do a single stud, you can do that, and concrete as well. So this one probably would be a good one. Maybe I'll buy one of these and actually do a video to show you guys how to use this. All right, they're full motion mounts. Again, this is $13.43. They actually have another one that is a little bit bigger. Now, if you need reach for some of these mounts, these are really good. They have the really, really long extension arms. These are, these can be very, very good and beneficial to you. But again, I really do not care for this. This goes all the way up to 86 inches. And me personally, 86-inch TV on this type of mount, especially with it coming so far off the wall, I would not buy that. Okay, and this is pretty much how it looks in the store, okay? This is pretty much what you're looking at, what you're going to be expecting. But again, I would not be buying that to put an 86-inch TV on there, okay? You got other things like this one. This is your ceiling mount. Those can be really, really good if you need to mount it on the ceiling. They don't actually have the full motion mount that I really, really cannot stand, but they do have, some decent mounts in here for a decent price. If you're in the pinch and you're actually trying to find something. All right, so right on the other side, you're gonna have other things that we need, okay? HDMI cables. Okay, this is 6-foot HDMI cable, 8K. So you got those. These are actually on clearance, so that's a pretty decent price for those. Let's see what else here. You got your other HDMI cables here. This is 50 feet. That's 50 feet. 25 feet if you have to go behind the wall. You probably don't need 25 feet going behind the wall. Probably need at least 12. So you have this one here is 9 feet. You can definitely use this to go behind the wall. This one here is about 16 feet. So that would probably be the one that I would use if I'm doing that. But you can definitely get away with 9 feet behind the wall, depending on how long that cable is that you need, how deep or how low you got to go behind the wall. All right, so you have HDMI adapters. All of those things, of course, is something that you can use. You have your wall plates. If you want to really kind of get really customized, get a nice little clean looking finish. Okay, and then of course you have your flex tubing. Flex tubing is very important for cable management. Okay, and then of course you have your different sizes, so you can actually run those wires and keep those things really, really efficient and clean. Get a nice little clean look with those. And on the other side is just coax cable. We really are not using anything like that, but this is pretty much going to be the aisle that we're going to be in order to make sure we get all of our stuff. All right, now I'm back over here because I did say I want to try this mount. So I'm going to grab this mount, all right, because I did say I want to try it, so I'm going to try it, see exactly how this mount works. All right, so we're going to go to the checkout right now. How you doing, sir? All right. There you go.
2406.
All right, appreciate it.